Gauteng, November 2021, grade 10, maths paper 2. So this question 1 is about data handling, and we're given the stem and leaf plot of the number of sweets in 25 packets of sweets. And we're given the key that says when it's like 2 and this line and then 4 means that there are 24 sweets in a packet. So like this here means that there are 36 sweets in a packet. Okay, so first question 1.1 asks us to write down the modal number of sweets in a packet, and remembering that the mode means the most occurring number, and just by looking at the plot we can clearly see that this is 30. So the modal number is 30. Okay, and then 1.2 has a few parts. So the first part asks us to determine the median, and the second part is the lower quartile, which is Q1, and the upper quartile is Q3, and the median is Q2. Okay, when we're finding these Q1, Q2, and Q3, it's important to remember that the numbers have to be in ascending order. So in the stem and leaf plot, it's already given in ascending order, so we can just go ahead and find these out. So I'm going to start with, I'm just going to be crossing out the numbers starting from the highest number and the lowest number and find where I meet in the middle. Right, so my median is 35. And then from my median, I'm going to find the halfway in between the upper half of the data. So the halfway in between these numbers is going to give me my upper quartile, Q3, and the halfway in between the lower numbers, these numbers here, is going to give me my lower quartile, which is the Q1. So starting with my lower quartile, so I'm going to be finding the halfway in between these two numbers. So halfway in between 30 and 30 is 30. And then the same for the upper half. I'm finding halfway in between 40 and 37. And that is going to be 38.5. Okay, and then the next part, 1.3, is asking me to find the range. Now this is the range, not the interquartile range, so the range is just the maximum minus the minimum, and that's the biggest number minus the smallest number. So that's going to be 44 minus 24 is equal to 20. Then the final part, 1.4, asks me to give the number of packets of sweets as a percentage that have sweets above the upper quartile. So remember that my upper quartile was 35, so I want the number of packets of sweets that have more than 39 sweets. So that's all of these, and there's 6 of them. And it wants it as a percentage, so I'm going to have 6 over the total packets of sweets, which is 25, times 100, so that it's a percentage, and my answer is going to be 24%. Okay, then moving on to question 2, I'm given a table with class intervals, about 120 motorists, and how much they spend at a petrol garage. So the first question, I'm asked to write down the interval that has the least number of motorists. That's pretty straightforward, so that's this class here, the 200, x is between 200 and 250. And then the next question asks me to draw a histogram to represent the data. So I'll have my graph set out like this, and then I'm just going to represent the information exactly as it appears in the table. So for the 0 to 50 class, I had 12 motorists. And for the 50 to 100, I had 38. That's about there. For the 100 to 150, I have 42. That's about there. And then 20 for the next. And 8 for the last. Then for the next question, 2.3, I'm asked to identify in which interval the 30th percentile lies. So the 30th percentile just means that I'm finding 30% times the total number of motorists. So I was told in the question that I have 120. And 30% of 120 is the 36th motorist. So I want to find, and it asked me to find the class in which this 36th motorist lies. So I go back to my information, and it looks like they would lie in this class, the 50 to 100. And then the final question says to calculate the size of the angle that will represent the modal class on a pie chart. So first I want to identify my modal class. And that's going to be the one with the most. So it's this one. So my modal class is this one, and in this class I have 42 motorists. Then the angle on the pie chart is going to be the fraction that this 42 represents out of all of the 120 motorists times 360, because the total angles in my pie chart is 360. It's a circle. So that fraction is going to be 42, the most number of motorists, over the total number of motorists times 360 degrees, which is the total degrees in my pie chart. And my answer is going to be 126 degrees.